So in my last video I talked about spiritual health and spiritual maturity. I forgot the word, maturity. Although I don't necessarily mean spiritual, since it would be mental or psychological health and maturity as well. It would be the same thing. So I talked about this Dutch word, geestelijk, which would literally translate to something like ghostly or maybe spiritual, but you could also use it for mental or psychological issues. Anyway, in my journey to find health in this aspect of my being, I'm also focused on work and which kind of work, which type of work I should be doing. And the thing that I'm trying to let me be guided by, the thing I'm trying to follow, the star on the horizon, is my joy, my enjoyment. What sparks joy, to quote a Family Guy episode. One thing I started doing from this perspective is I started making YouTube videos, and this channel was one of those things that I did, and I just talked about what it is that I like to talk about and whatever I find worthy of expression. So, what happened? Well, I started noticing a bit better. I started to become more acutely aware of which kinds of things I find enjoyable to talk about or to discuss. And I ended up setting up another YouTube channel about music theory, which is my core business, so to speak. So I just made a video or two, 3, 4, 5 even, and I just let it cook there. And I just talked about whatever it is I like to explain, whatever it is I enjoy talking about. That's it, nothing else. Nothing that I'm telling myself I ought to do, just what I want to do. And what happened? I really liked doing it, I really enjoyed it. And I started creating a bigger playlist, which is now releasing almost daily, or at least one video a day. Almost, not on Sunday. Anyway, next thing that happened, while I was working on these videos, I noticed one of my very crappy hobby type videos actually got 800 views and gave me 6 subscribers, even though it was a video that was just 1 minute and 20 seconds or something like that, and all you could see was my fingers and 1.5 octave of the piano. It got a few comments, and that was enough for me to think, oh crap, maybe there's an actual audience for that which I enjoy most. Maybe the thing I enjoy doing most can actually be done, and it can actually have some merit, both as a career path and financially, and maybe I'm actually adding value to people's lives in this way, in this manner. So, that was a big one. I remember I had an insight like this, I think 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that, maybe even 7 years ago by now, where I took magic mushrooms because I was really struggling with the whole issue of work, and I came to the same conclusion. Do what you enjoy doing most, because that's what you're going to spend most energy in, and it's going to be the least amount of drag to do, and you're going to be best at it because you just have a different mindset when you're doing something you really enjoy. And then, well, that way you'll actually do something and be good at it. And just because you're doing something and you're good at it, you'll be valuable and it'll be worth money and you can live off of it. So doing what you enjoy most, kind of utopian to consider it in this way, but do what you enjoy doing most and you'll have the best life, I guess. So I figured that out back then, years ago, which is why I became a music theory teacher. And I was struggling to get more work at the conservatory that I work at, because there's just a finite amount of classes, a finite amount of hours and lessons that need to be taught. And there already are a few other teachers giving those lessons, so it's basically a waiting game, waiting for people to either retire or quit their job, and then maybe I can take those hours. So instead, I can now use YouTube to do what I enjoy doing most. And who knows, maybe it'll actually get to a point where it will be profitable. And maybe it won't. But either way, I'm finding my place in this world even more so than I already had a few years ago. So, that's where I am currently on my journey to heal. Bye guys.